Hey y'all, it's me, Farron. Welcome back to my channel. We're here we talk about things anesthesia, things in life, all of the things. So today's video is a little bit different. We're gonna film in my car today because it's Sunday and Austin's upstairs. He's cooking, watching the football game, and I just kind of want to give him his space. And so I was like, well, we started off in a car, I think the first video was in the car. Yeah, so we back in the car, okay? So a lot of y'all have been asking me about, to talk about my experience as a student in going to anesthesia school. So we're going to talk about that today. And hopefully I answer some of y'all's questions, but it's really going to be more of a reflection. And I do have an Instagram page, and I'll link it below. And y'all can just, I don't know what we're going to do with it, but we're going to get there. When it's active, we'll get there. Okay. So I started anesthesia school. Let's see, what is this? We're in 2023. I graduated 2023. It takes 2 years. So what's that? 2021. I started 2021. And so I applied to a few. I think I applied to like 3 schools. I got in at like 2. And I chose to come to Texas. I've always wanted to come to Texas. Never been to Texas before. So I really didn't know what I was getting into anyway. But I got into school, and our school started in June. So it started June 2021. And so I moved from North Carolina. Me and Austin, we moved from North Carolina. We moved out to Houston because the way our program was set up is you kind of do like a summer boot camp kind of thing. And you go to summer boot camp, and it's kind of like, it's really just didactics for like the summertime. So it's nothing but books. You're not in clinic yet, anything like that. You're learning all of the book things, building on those foundational steps for you to start your clinical days. Okay. So first of all, it was Houston. I'm from North Carolina. Matter of fact, Greensboro, North Carolina. Okay. So it was a big difference going from Greensboro to Houston. The cars were everywhere. Traffic was crazy. Like, I hated driving around Houston. Like, I thank God Austin came with me because it was just it's just a different type of life out there. Okay, like go like it was a lot for me. It was a big change for me to go from little Greensboro to big old city life Houston. Okay, and so that was a little tough. But like I said, I thank God Austin was there for me because he did all the driving. He would drop me off at the building where we had our classes at, come pick me up. He would make me lunch in the morning for breakfast because at the time we had just moved, so he wasn't quite working yet. And we were only going to be in Houston for maybe 1 to 2 months because I actually was going to be in the Austin program. And so I was just like, okay, just, support me a little bit, support me. And then you can kind of start working when we actually move to Austin. So that was the plan. So I remember we had got our apartment, and we had a little mattress. I didn't have no bed frame. I put the mattress on top of the little thing that go under the mattress. What's it called? Not the bed frame, but the wooden part. I guess it's wooden. I don't know. But that was on the floor, okay? Because I was like, listen, we ain't gonna be here long. We're gonna do what we gotta do. We gotta make it work until we can move, okay? So anyway, so I would wake up in the morning. I remember my first day, I woke up, got dressed, because we had to wear business casual, walk in the classroom, and we would just learn, they would teach us all the things about anesthesia, what is anesthesia, what all are we expected to do as CAAs, what's the monitoring that we have to do, what the monitors look like, where we're supposed to place them, what do they tell you, how do you read them. And coming from a person who had no type of experience in medicine, no patient care experience, I was just kind of it was like me trying to read I don't know, Chinese or not English, okay? Basically, everything was foreign to me, basically is what I'm saying. So it was really, really tough, really tough. And that was pretty much every day. And I remember at one point I had came home and I was just like, Austin, I don't know what I got myself into. I don't know what they're talking about. It's not enough time in the day for me to fully understand what they're talking about, because we would get there in the morning. We'd probably be there till I don't know, maybe some days, maybe 5 o'clock, I want to say. Anyway, it was all day. We'd be there all day. I mean, 5 o'clock might be a little late. I would definitely say like 3 to 5, because I probably wasn't at the house till 5 o'clock p.m. So you done had your brain like full of like all this new anesthesia concepts you've never seen before, you've never heard of before. Then you get home at 5 o'clock. One, I'm hungry and I'm tired. Like, I'm worn out. So I remember having a conversation with Austin. I was just kind of like, what did I do? What did I just sign up for? You know? I just felt so defeated. Like, cause I was just kind of like, I don't know what any of this stuff is. And like, I don't know where to start. I don't know if this is going to be for me. Like, this just feels too hard. Like, I don't have time to study for the exams. Like, I just feel like I was on go all the time. And I remember being like very tired for like those first couple weeks or whatever like that. Eventually I kind of started getting in the mindset of like, okay, listen, we just going to do our best. So I would come home, eat, and then I would just go ahead and start looking at the lectures, or like, I guess the material for the next day or whatever like that. Still a foreign language to me. And then just go on into the classroom and do what it's going to do. It's going to be what it's going to be. But one thing about me, I'm going to ask my questions. If it don't make sense to me, I don't care if it's the dumbest question. I don't know it. I'm going to be dealing with patients, so I feel like I should know it. I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask. What do you mean? What's the difference between oxygenation and ventilation? Like, you're breathing. I'm telling you, every dumb question you could think, I was asking it, okay? Because I didn't know what was going on. All right. It is what it is. So we did that. I did that. And like, I think it kind of helped, because I feel like I asked the questions. Like, I don't have no shame. If I don't know something, I just don't know. I don't have no shame. And I think I was asking the questions that other people may have been scared to ask or something like that. So if you do have questions in the class, just go ahead and ask them, because there's somebody else in the classroom that's just as lost as you. Period. So, yeah. So then when it came down to taking the actual exams, you have like a little bit more time to prepare for it, because you're not really learning new material. So I would just literally like relist, like all of our lectures were kind of like recorded while he was saying it. So I would just, sorry, somebody like walking. Oh, anyway, so I would just listen to the lectures and take notes and just trying to memorize like everything that I could. Honestly, the summer was the hardest part of first year, because it was just like I moved to a new city. I didn't know anybody except for Austin. Just like the day-to-day, like just blowing my mind with all these new things about anesthesia. It was a tough time. Had a tough time. So at the end of summer and all of the exams and everything, we kind of started clinic. So for us, it was only 4 people in like the Austin class at the time, and so we moved to Austin, and that's where we were going to do our clinical rotation at for like that first year, because that was the didactic part was just the summer semester. So then when we started going to clinic, I think we started in clinic maybe like 3 days a week, and then because we also had lecture at the same time. That was a whole other story, because I'm trying to learn the things in lecture and learn the things in the OR, and they do, obviously they intermingle, but it's kind of like, I don't know, it didn't feel like we was all on the same page. Like what we were doing in class was kind of matching what I was trying to learn in the OR, because in the OR it's like it's real time. Like you don't have time to like really think. It's, you know, it's real time. Like you have a live patient, you gotta, you know, kind of get things moving. So that was very, sorry if the camera's shaking because I'm holding it. My little dash is too high. So that was really difficult. It was just very overwhelming. So it was just kind of like, you know, you do clinic. I think we were in clinic maybe till about like 1 o'clock. So we get there at like 6:30, 7 a.m. to set up the room. And then you be with your instructor, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But you'll be with your instructor, do however many cases you're gonna do to about 1 o'clock ish, like 1 to 3 o'clock. I think we started off at 1 o'clock because we may have had like a lecture starting at 3 or something like that, or 5 o'clock p.m. And so then you go home, get you something to eat, and then it'd be time to log on to Zoom because it was COVID time. And at the time, we didn't really have like a classroom in Austin. And so we just went home and did our, like, watched the lecture from home on Zoom. And so, I mean, when I tell y'all I was tore down, I was tore down. I had never interacted with patients before. Like, I'm an antisocial person. I really am. Like, I get on here, and this was tough for me just to be on here talking to y'all, okay? But in real life, baby, I'm awkward, okay? Like, I'm awkward, I'm antisocial, I don't know. And so to talk to patients is kind of like, it would make me so nervous. Like, I would just be nervous. Like, I don't know. I really struggle with that. But they taught me how to, just kind of ask the questions that I needed to ask. And like, the more I practice with the patients, the more comfortable I got. Because at the end of the day, they're going to be more nervous than I am because they're the ones having surgery, not me. Like, I'm telling y'all, I don't ever want to have surgery. Like, I thank God because, like, I don't even like going to the doctor. Let's just put it like that. So I already know that they're more nervous than what I am. And so eventually it became easier for me the more I practiced. And some places you go, they may not even have you go pre-op patients, but I'm going to tell y'all to do it because you got to think about it from the patient's perspective. It's like they're here, they're about to cut into their body. They're not going to have any control over their body, and they have to trust you to take care of them. And that's nerve-wracking to me. So I just kind of go in there and I say hi and I ask all my questions that I need to ask, and try to make them as comfortable as I can, and that became a little bit more natural for me. So I eventually got comfortable with that. So I think that, like I said, I don't come from like a medical background. So when I came in there, like learning how to actually work the machines, that was the whole thing. And let me tell you something, your instructor makes the day. If you have an instructor who has an attitude and expecting you to know everything and you've never been in an OR before, when I say never been in an OR, I mean like you went to the hospital and you stayed in the lobby. Like, you was probably coming to check on your friend or something. Like, you never went across the red line. That's me. So I would have instructors that were just, like, they just kind of expected you to, like, oh, like, do this and do that. And why don't you know how to do this? And I'm like, it's my first week. I don't even know how to draw up drugs. Okay? So, when you have people like that, it's a little bit discouraging. It makes you feel like, why am I here? Or maybe I don't belong here. Not to me, but I've heard people say like their instructors told them like, I don't think this is for you. You might need to do something else. And you don't want to hear that. Like, nobody wants to hear that, okay? And you're already unsure of yourself. So it's kind of like to hear somebody who's already in the profession saying, oh, you might not need to do that. A little bit, you might want to believe them because you're like, well, they know more than I do. They have better judgment than I would. Maybe I don't need to do it. But forget them, okay? Some people just aren't meant to teach. And you will figure that out between first year and second year. The rest of my instructors in Austin at that particular hospital were awesome, okay? So one, I had worked with a CRNA, love her down. She was just kind of like, for your first year, I think it's very important that you just kind of focus on the basics and getting in the routine. And when I say the routine is, you go see your patient in pre-op, you talk to them, see if they're nervous, do they need a little verse said, all those things. You come back, make sure everything's ready to go in your room, so you have your airways set up, MS mades it, do the things. And then as soon as the patient comes in the room, you put time in because you have to record time in the room. You have to get them over, put monitors on, make sure all your monitors are going because you need to have your first set of vitals before you start going to sleep, those types of things. And then the big thing, you do your timeout. Make sure the patient is who the patient's supposed to be. And y'all doing the operation y'all said y'all was going to do. And then intubating, the airway. That was a whole other thing. That's a whole other skill. So we're not even going listen, that's not a part of the routine. Obviously you want to get good at intubations, but they were just really honing in, like, just get into the flow of things. Bring the patient in, get them over, get your vital signs going. Learn your drugs so that you know how to put them to sleep, like, safely. And then intubating, that's its own separate skill. Eventually that'll come, because you'll be intubating 100 people, 200 people, 300 people, kids, all the things. So that will come. And so you do that, and then during maintenance, and when I say maintenance, I mean after we've already gone to sleep, airway is secure, and at this point you're just maintaining their vitals, making sure they're comfortable, whatever pain meds you need to do. This is the time where I would start to look at the monitors to see if I could tell what was going to happen and get good at predicting what was going to happen. And I would ask all the questions. I would say, what does this mean? Like, what does it mean when the CO2 is like, it's doing its pattern? Like, and I had some really, really good instructors who walked me through everything. Like, talk to me like I'm a baby. I don't know, because I am a baby, and I didn't know. Okay. And I appreciated that, because it's just kind of like, I'm new here and I want to be really good at this. So I feel like I really want to understand these concepts. And so that was kind of my OR time at the beginning. And so then from there, after maintenance, is wake up time. And you want to get good at waking up. Like, okay, so let's just say you're doing robots or something and they still have trocars in. Well, okay, I don't want my patient to start breathing and moving while they have trocars in, because, all right, what if they, the trocars puncture some organs and stuff like that? Those are the things that you kind of start picking up on, like with your timing and things like that. And so, like, okay, let's build up their CO2. Let's start to kind of get them breathing. Were they paralyzed? Do I need to reverse them? All those types of things there's a whole, like, flow of how you're going to wake up too. And I mean, it kind of changes patient to patient, depending on what the patient needs. But for the most part, it's the same. From the beginning to the walk to the room till we're waking up and we're going back to PACU, it becomes the same. So I feel like when I was just focusing on getting that stuff down, by the end of first year, I could do robots, I would say, by myself. Like, it wasn't something where like if something crazy happened, like my instructor's there, so I'm like, hey, I want to step in here. Like, I don't know. But for the most part, ASA 1, like, I don't know, lap appy or something like that, like, I had that because I practiced my routine. So I would say for first year, those are the things you should focus on, as well as obviously keeping up with your didactics. Didactics it didn't get easier, honestly. I think you can come up with a routine to study and try to stick to that time-wise and really go over the information, but it's not like you have more time in the day. So it's just hard, and you just gotta kind of put your book bag on and thank God that you woke up, and thank God that you're here, and just trust that he's gonna get you through it, because it was me crying and praying a lot, and I mean a lot. Okay. And so second year looks more like you've pretty much already done most of your didactic things. So second year is kind of like maybe you're putting together a few projects to present to your first years, because at this point you're second year. And so you're doing that, but you're also rotating at different hospitals. So you might have like a trauma rotation, or I don't know, OB, cardiac, all the main things, and some general cases too. And I will say second year, definitely better than the first year, because at this point you already got your flow down. You know your drugs, and at this point it's just kind of like fine-tuning those skills, but adding to them as well. Like, I think my first time giving blood, like actually like setting everything up to give blood, was during second year, my trauma rotation. Excuse me. So that's kind of how my second year went, and there were definitely some challenges there too. Honestly, the whole program, it's gonna be challenges after challenges after challenge after challenge after challenge, and you just have to know that that's what's coming. Like, you're gonna have good days, and you're gonna have some days where you crying and you want to go home and get your mama bed, like I wanted to do, and you just want to quit. And that might be every day. It's at least gonna be twice a week. I'm just throw that out there. It's gonna at least be twice a week. But like I said, I cried. I had Austin. I prayed a lot that God would just kind of see me through it, and guide me and give me the strength and the confidence that I needed to deal with difficult people. And I kind of feel like besides the didactics, that was a big thing for me, was dealing with instructors, because a lot of them do not need to be teaching, but they are. But they don't have the attitude or the right spirit to do it. They don't give you grace, if that makes sense. Some of them do. Some of them want to meet you where you are, which I think you should do. Like, tell me where you are and let me help push you farther from there, you know? But a lot of times it's you walk in, well, why isn't this monitor set up? And why isn't this set up? And it's kind of like, this is my first day at this hospital. I don't even know where the bathroom is. I don't know how y'all do things here. This is my first day, you know? And so you'll work with people like that, and it's just annoying and it's frustrating. And I would say being a person of color, you run into this thing where when people critique you on your anesthesia, because you want them to, because you want to be the best, and they give you this feedback, I would get feedback like, oh, Farron had an attitude today, or I felt like she didn't care. She doesn't care about the patient. She doesn't care about anything. And I would be very shocked. And I find this out because, you know, your director might read your evaluations, because your instructors do evaluate you at the end of your clinical day. And they call me and they be like, hey, so, you know, like, you know, such and such said you had an attitude or whatever. And in my mind, I'd be like, I thought I had my day wasn't that bad. Like, you know, you gonna mess up a few times, but the attitude wasn't a thing. And what I realized was, when they would critique me or give whatever feedback, my response was always, okay, that's it. I would say, okay, like, as in, like, I'm accepting your feedback, and I would, you know, obviously in my mind, I'm gonna work on it to where I get better. But for some reason, there aren't many people of color. So if you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. I'm not one of those people who walks around giddy. Like, I don't smile all the time. I don't, not to say, I'm not super hype all the time, or those people who you think like are just happy all the time. Like, I just don't reflect that in my face. Even like sometimes I'm just in my own mind, or that's just not who I am. I'm just not a smiley person all the time. And a lot of us aren't. And when you work with people who are not from that culture, they take that as you have an attitude. And it's difficult, because it's just kind of like, that's just who you are, and I think you should show up as who you are. You're not lazy, you don't have an attitude, you don't not care for your patients, but you're showing up as you. And I think that's very important for you to be okay with that. So know that if you run into that problem, let it go, because it's just something they don't understand. And I struggle with that. And it can get to the point where they be like I had somebody tell me, like, they'll be like, oh, such and such lied, and like they kind of make you out to be like this person with attitude or a liar and all these things. And it's just kind of like, that ain't even me. I don't know where you, it's a thing. It's a thing here. Okay. So I just want to go ahead and tell y'all, people of color, and I mean, it can happen to other people too, but from my experience, I see a lot of it with people of color. And so I just want y'all to know, it's okay not to smile all the time. Like, I feel like as long as you are professional and you're showing up as you, and you're giving your best to your patients, and your patients are comfortable, that's what's important. And there were days where I would get some instructors who were just so bad that I just couldn't give my best for the day. And me, knowing me, like, I'm taking care of patients, like real life patients. And if I'm not doing my best, if I can't concentrate on what I'm doing, the day is a wrap. I'm not doing that. And I've had to say, listen, you know, this learning environment isn't going to work for me, because you're making me anxious being in the room, and I can't focus on my patient. Like, if you're saying to me, like, oh, like, you're stupid. Why are you in this? Why are you in this? You need to do something else. Which I think they knew not to say it to me because I'm not that girl. But they've said it to other people who they know ain't, like, won't make it an issue. I would leave. Like, I pay you. You don't understand that you pay so much money to be so good at this career. So to have people like talk down to you, I just wasn't gonna do it because at the end of the day, y'all not gonna help me pay these loans. You know what I'm saying? And not everyone's like that, but be prepared for that. Most days weren't like that. Most days, like, I had someone who actually cared about me learning the anesthesia, and I was just, the criticism they gave me was very positive. Like, it was just, even if I didn't do a great job that day, they gave me the constructive feedback that I needed, and honestly, I'm my worst critic. Like, if I mess up on something, I'd be like, dang, like, why I messed that up? Like, I know how to do that, like, I'm my worst critic. Okay, can't nobody judge me worse than I could judge me, if that makes sense. So, just keep that in mind. And so you'll deal with that. You'll deal with instructors who are just kind of like, you rather be somewhere else, but you got to push through that. Because I did with God and Austin and my family. Like, I was able to get through it. So y'all can get through it too. Because I'm a sensitive person. And I'm telling y'all, if I could do it, y'all could do it. And I'm sorry if the camera's shaking because my arm kind of hurt. Because it's holding this stick up. Okay. But yeah. I did have fun experiences. I did have people who would go to battle for me when I needed them to. And so I thank God for those people who showed up for me. And defended me and said, hey, no, Farrah's not like that. No, she tries and, she works hard. She's pretty good. Like, I definitely thank God for those people. And so be grateful when you run into them, because them the ones, okay? And then as you travel and then you get more experience in things, you'll meet more people like that. Sometimes it's the AA, sometimes it's the doctors and, residents or whoever you may work with. So make sure to keep those people, keep them in your good circle. Because you can never have too many supporters, I feel like. So that was kind of my experience between first year and second year. And then, of course, during second year, you're doing your kind of last few rotations and you're also preparing to take boards. And for boards, y'all know that was a struggle for me. But thank God we made it through there. But it was a struggle, but we made it. So, yeah, I think that overall, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Like, it was not the best, like, experience for me. Like, I don't want to say traumatizing. Like, I don't want to say that. But it made me, I really had to dig in deep with my faith, and I had to really learn about myself, and I had to toughen my skin up a bit and speak up for myself, because there are times when you don't have your supporters around because they out living their life and you at clinic with this person who don't want to be here and whatever. But it definitely made me stronger. It made me more independent. It put me through some things that I didn't know I could make it through, and so I thank God for that. This person I am now is not the same person that I was 2 years ago. I've definitely matured. I definitely have a stronger relationship with God, and that's just, if you don't get nothing else out of it, like, I thank God for that, okay? So yeah, I will say that I do recommend, like, if you want to do AA school, I recommend that you do it. Be passionate about, like, anesthesia and, go for it. Just be prepared mentally. Get your prayers in. Meet those good people. Build up your support team. Talk to your friends. Like, make new friends. Go out sometimes. Let me tell you something. I didn't really go out until, like, second year because I just kind of felt like, oh, books. But listen, when you crying every day, or crying once a week, you need to go out. You need to go out, get your little something, little cake, little whatever you need to get, little, I don't know, little new shirt, something, I don't know. Like, it's 2 years of your life. And you still need to enjoy those 2 years, So definitely make a little bit of time to be social, take care of yourself. It's okay to take the time that you need. Talk to someone. I definitely did therapy while I was there. I did therapy before too, but I was literally calling I had to switch to like every week because I needed it. I needed an outlet. So, really get into your resources, and I'm gonna try to be a resource for y'all since I already did it, and I'll give y'all what I know. Um, so yeah, like, it's a tough program, very, very, very tough, and everybody's experience is gonna be different. Like, that might just be because of where I was, Um, so I recommend do it. Just be prepared, and then when you come out, and you like, I'm out now, and I just I was just like, yeah, like, I'm glad I stuck it out because like I actually like my job. I love the people I work with. Like, we're more of a unit. Sorry, I'm looking away because like I keep seeing these cars go by. It's distracting me. But anyway, I love the people I work with. The doctors, you're always gonna have some doctors who are just like a little bit like, but for the most part, I know that like if I need something or if I need something with a patient, I can call them. They're gonna come. So I love that. And then obviously, it's gonna pay for some things that you might not have been able to pay for before. So I'm definitely enjoying that, and that's new for me too. I don't come from this, I don't come from, I don't know how to say it without, I don't know. I don't come from money. I don't come from a place where I know a lot of people with money. And so to be the first person to kind of like move out of North Carolina and start this whole life with God and start this whole journey is just, it's a blessing. Like, it's a blessing. I'm so grateful to be here. And I'm learning to be comfortable in the uncomfortable. And you're definitely going to do that through the program. But I'm learning that it's okay for me to have nice things. I don't know. Anyway, that can be a whole another other chat. But that was my experience in school. That's kind of like all I got for y'all. Like, if you want to do it, you can do it. I'm here to support y'all. Y'all have any questions, put it in the comments. I'll get the Instagram going at some point. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But yeah, so I'll see y'all next time.